A silver ship landed on the soft grass of the royal landing field. The sky above Velmara was a deep shade of blue, with twin moons watching from above. Many guards stood around, unsure of what to expect. The air was silent, filled with curiosity and tension. The ship opened slowly. A tall woman stepped out. She wore a simple robe, not the fine clothes of royalty. Her long dark hair was tied back, and her green eyes looked tired but proud. Behind her, two small human children followed, a boy and a girl. They held her hands tightly and looked around with wide eyes. Whispers started among the guards. They knew her. It had been many years, but they could never forget the queen's only daughter. Princess Liora had finally returned. She walked forward, her back straight, her steps calm. The guards moved aside, still silent. The children looked different from Velmaran children. Her skin was light, their hair brown and short. The boy looked around with excitement, while the girl stayed close to Liora. At the palace, the news spread fast. Servants ran through the halls, advisors rushed to the queen's side. The queen sat on her high throne, her face hard, but her hands shaking slightly. She had not seen her daughter in 12 years. When Liora entered the hall, everything stopped. The queen stood up, eyes locked on her daughter. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Liora bent her knee and bowed. The children followed her and did the same, though unsure. The queen spoke with a voice that was both strong and soft. She asked, "Why now, Liora? Why come back after all these years?" Liora looked up. "Because I must, and because of them." She placed her hands gently on the children's shoulders. The queen looked at them with confusion. "Who are these children?" "Their names are Ben and Lily. They are from Earth. They are not just with me. They are under my care." A wave of shock moved through the room. Earth was far and forbidden. No Velmaran had gone there in over 100 years. The royal advisors began to murmur. Some stepped forward, ready to speak against her. The queen raised her hand, and all fell silent. She looked at Liora again. "Come with me alone." The queen and Liora walked to a private chamber. The children waited outside with a gentle servant who offered them food. Ben took a fruit and bit into it with wonder. Lily held hers but did not eat. Inside the chamber, the queen and Liora sat face to face. "Tell me everything," the queen said. Liora began her story. She spoke of how she had left to escape an arranged marriage. She had taken a small ship and flew into deep space, not knowing where she would land. A rebel pilot helped her reach Earth. Her ship broke, and she could not return. On Earth, she had lived in hiding. She worked simple jobs and learned their ways. One day, she found two children alone in a burning house. She saved them and raised them as her own. "I could not leave them behind," she said. "They have no one. They're brave, kind, and they are mine now." The queen was silent for a long time. Her face showed no anger, but no joy either. "You broke our laws," she finally said. "But you also followed your heart." Liora waited, not sure what her mother would decide. The queen stood and walked to the window. She looked out at the stars. Velmara is not what it once was. We have grown cold. Maybe these children are not the danger. Maybe they are the change we need. Liora stood up, feeling hope rise in her chest. "Let them stay, mother. Let me stay." The queen turned to her daughter. "We will see, but be ready. Not all will accept this." That night, Liora and the children were given rooms in the guest wing. The halls were quiet, but eyes followed them from every corner. Ben whispered to Lily, "Do you think they like us?" Lily hugged her blanket. "I don't know, but I like the stars." Liora looked out from her window. She had returned, but the journey was not over. This was just the beginning. The next morning, the sun rose slowly over the palace towers. A light filled the long halls of Velmara. Liora sat beside a round table with Ben and Lily. Their breakfast was different from Earth food, but Ben was excited to try everything. Lily was quiet but watched the servants with curious eyes. A soft knock came at the door. A tall young man entered. He wore plain clothes and carried a writing tablet. His name was Darren. He was a royal scribe, known for his calm ways and his love for history. He bowed to Liora. "May I sit with you?" She nodded. "You may." Darren smiled at the children. "Hello, Ben. Hello, Lily. My name is Darren. I write stories and keep records. Would you like to tell me about your world? Ben nodded at once. We lived on Earth. There were cars and houses and animals. But one day there was fire. Liora saved us. Lily spoke softly. She gave us food and kept us safe. Darren listened and wrote. He did not laugh or look shocked. He just nodded. He asked more questions about Earth. Ben showed him how a ball game worked, using a fruit from the table. Lily drew a flower from their garden on Earth with a colored stick. When they finished eating, Darren walked with them to the garden. Liora stayed close, watching the guards and servants who still stared. They fear change, she whispered. Yes, Darren said. But stories help them understand. I will write their truth. And maybe some hearts will open. That afternoon, the Queen met with her council. The room was full of advisors. Some had gray robes, others gold. Their faces were serious. The talk was not friendly. Your daughter brings humans into our palace, one said. They are not Velmaran. They cannot stay, another added. Vorin, a strong man with sharp eyes, stood up. The law is clear. No outsider may touch the royal bloodline. She broke this law. Her children are a danger to our ways. The Queen raised her hand. The children have done no harm. We will not judge them so quickly. But the council was not calm. Voices rose. Some shouted. Others shook their heads. After the meeting, Liora sat with her mother in the quiet garden. The Queen looked tired. You know they will not give up, she said. Then I will fight, Liora replied. I left because I wanted a choice. I came back because I still believe in this place. The Queen looked at the children, who were chasing a small flying light. Their laughter filled the air. They remind me of peace, the Queen said, of what we lost. In the evening, Ben and Lily sat in their new room. Ben looked out the window at the glowing trees. They don't like us, he said. Some don't, Lily said. What? But Darren does. And the Queen didn't yell. Liora came in and sat with them. This place is different. People are afraid of different things. But that doesn't mean we stop being kind or stop being strong. Ben hugged her. Lily leaned on her shoulder. He felt safe again. Later that night, Darren walked alone in the palace, past the old halls filled with stone faces and gold lines. He stopped at the records room and opened a book. His eyes found a forgotten tale, a story of humans and Velmarans working together long ago. It was a time of peace and trade. But something had broken that trust. He kept reading. In the past, Velmarans and humans had shared ideas and tools. They built star maps together. They fought side by side in a war. Then, one day, a group of humans broke a deal. Fear spread. The gates were closed. The Queen before the current one had passed a law. No more contact. Darren's heart beat faster. He took the book and ran to Liora's room. She opened the door, surprised. Look, he said, they have forgotten this. But it is true. We were friends once. This can change everything. Liora took the book and read. Her eyes grew wide. She looked at the children sleeping nearby, and this is not just our story. It is a second chance. Outside, the stars moved in silence. But in the palace, something had begun to shift. Truth was waking, and it was stronger than fear. The palace felt heavy the next morning. The air was full of whispers. More people were talking about the human children. Some were curious, others were angry. Ben and Lily walked with Liora to the learning hall. They were going to meet a teacher who had studied many worlds. The hall had smooth floors and shining walls. A woman with short hair and dark eyes greeted them. Her name was Mira. Welcome, Mira said. Teach young minds about stars, planets, and the old stories. Ben smiled. I love stars. Lily held Liora's hand. She was nervous, but Mira gave her a kind look. You will be safe here, Mira said. Liora left the children with Mira and went to meet Daron. They walked together to the deep part of the palace, far from the noise. Daron carried the old book. He opened it again. There is more, he said. The Velmaran Council destroyed many pages, but this one speaks of a treaty, a promise between Earth and Velmara. Liora read slowly. The book told of a time when humans and Velmarans shared knowledge and worked as one. It was even a story of a child born from both worlds, but the story ended without a name. What happened to the child? Liora asked. No one knows, Darren said. But maybe this is why they fear your children. They remember the past, but not the truth. Back in the learning hall, Mira showed Ben and Lily how to use a light table. It showed planets spinning and stars shining. Ben clapped with joy. Lily smiled for the first time that day. Later, as they walked back, Ben saw a guard drop something near a wall. It was a small key. He picked it up and looked around. The guard was gone. "Lily," he said, "look at this." He walked a little farther and found a small door. It was half open. A red light blinked beside it. "Maybe this goes to the kitchen," Ben said. He put the key in. The door opened slowly. Inside was a narrow tunnel that went down. It was dark, but small lights lit the way. "Let's go," Ben whispered. Lily followed. They walked slowly, the tunnel cool and quiet. After many turns, they came to a wide space. It was a hidden chamber. Strange machines stood around. A large map of stars covered the wall. Ben touched the map. It moved. Light showed lines between Earth and Velmara. Lily looked at the walls. There are names here. Some are human, some are not. They didn't know it, but they had found the old Alliance room. It had been closed for over 100 years. Just then a noise came from above. The door had closed. Ben ran back and pushed, but it didn't open. "We're stuck," he said. Lily sat on the floor. "Maybe someone will find us." At the same time, Duran and Liora searched for the children. Hours passed. No one had seen them. Laura's heart beat fast. She ran through the halls, calling their names. Darren asked the guards. One of them remembered seeing the children near the lower halls. Liora followed the path. Then she saw the open door and the blinking light. She ran inside, down the tunnel, through the turns, until she reached the chamber. Ben, Lily. The children looked up and ran to her. "We got lost," Ben said. Liora held them close. "You are safe now." Duran stepped into the chamber. His eyes grew wide. "This place, I thought it was a myth." He walked to the map. He traced a line between Earth and Velmara. "They tried to hide this," he said. "But it is still here. This is proof." Liora looked around. "We must show the Queen and the Council." Ben pointed to a symbol. "What does this mean?" Darren looked closer. "It means peace." It was the symbol of the old promise. They left the chamber and returned to the Queen. Liora told her what they found. Duran showed her the book and the map. The Queen listened without a word. When they finished, she stood and walked to the window. "The past is not dead," she said. "It waits to be remembered." She turned to them. "We will hold a trial. Let the Council hear all truths." Liora nodded. She looked at Ben and Lily. "We are ready." The wind outside blew gently. The palace no longer felt still. Something had changed. The trial was set to happen in 3 days. Word spread fast. People from all parts of Velmara came to the capital. Why, some wanted to see the Queen's daughter lose her place. Others came to support her. All were curious about the human children. The palace was filled with guards. The great hall was cleaned and lit with crystal lights. A high chair was placed for the Queen, and seats were arranged in a wide circle for the council. Liora stood in her chamber, looking at her reflection. She wore a simple blue dress. She held Lily's hand while Ben stood beside her. "Are you scared?" Ben asked. "No," Liora said. "It's not with you here." Darren arrived with the old book and the map from the hidden room. He looked serious but calm. "They may not listen," he said. "Then we will speak louder," Liora replied. On the morning of the trial, the great hall was full. The Queen sat high above. The council members took their seats. Vorin stood tall and proud, his face cold. Liora stepped forward with Ben and Lily. Darren followed behind. The Queen raised her hand. "We are here to speak of truth, of law, and of change." Vorin was the first to speak. He walked slowly and spoke with a loud voice. Princess Liora left without permission. She broke her promise to the royal house. She now brings outsiders' human children to our world. This is against our law. The room stayed silent. Then the Queen nodded at Liora. Liora walked forward. She held her head high. "Yes, I left," she said, "because I was not free. I found freedom on Earth. I found love, and I found these 2 children. They were alone, and I chose to care for them. She looked around the room. They are not a threat. They are kind, brave, and full of hope. Vorin stepped forward again. They are not Velmaran. They do not belong here. Darren stood next. He held up the old book. Long ago, humans and Velmarans were friends. Worked together, they built things, they protected each other. This was hidden from us, but the truth remained. He opened the book and read a line about peace between Earth and Velmara. Then he showed the map. This map was in the old chamber, sealed for 100 years. It shows the paths between our stars. It shows trust. The crowd began to murmur. Some looked surprised, others nodded. The queen raised her hand. Let the children speak. Ben stepped forward. His voice was small but clear. I never knew my real family, but Liora saved me. She gave me food. She gave me a home. I learned to be strong because of her. Lily stood beside him. She held a small flower from the palace garden. This place is strange, she said. But we like the stars here. We want to stay. The room was quiet again. Vorin looked angry but said nothing. The queen stood. She looked at each council member. Then she spoke. I once followed the old ways without question. But today I see something new. I see that love and care are more important than fear. She looked at Ben and Lily. You are welcome here. You are part of this world now. Then she turned to Liora. You are still my daughter. And now you are more than that. You are a bridge between two worlds. The hall filled with soft voices. Some council members clapped. Others stayed silent, but no one argued. Vorin turned and walked away without a word. That evening, the stars above Velmara shone brighter than before. In the garden, Ben and Lily played near the lights. Darren sat under a tree, writing everything that happened. Liora sat beside her mother. The queen looked at her with calm eyes. You changed this place, she said. No, Liora said. They did. She watched the children laugh. Their joy was pure, their steps light. Change had come to Velmara. It had come with 2 small hands and a promise never broken. A new sun rose over Velmara. The sky was bright and clear. The palace stood tall, shining in the early light. Change had begun, and the people could feel it. In the garden, Ben and Lily ran through the tall grass, laughed and chased small lights that floated in the air. Liora sat nearby, watching them with a calm heart. For the first time in many years, she felt at home. Darren walked toward her with a scroll in his hand. It is ready, he said. She looked at him. What is ready? Their story, Darren said. The queen asked me to share it across the stars. The truth about the old alliance, the trial, and your return, Liora smiled. Let the stars remember. Beside the palace, the queen stood in the main hall. Her voice was strong and clear. She spoke to the council, the guards, and the people who had come from all parts of the land. From this day forward, she said, no child shall be judged by the place they were born, and no law shall stand in the way of care and truth. The people listened. Some clapped, some cried, some just stood still, taking in the new words. Ben and Lily were called to the front. The queen knelt before them. She placed a small silver mark on each of their hands. You are now children of Velmara, she said. May your future be bright. The hall echoed with cheers. The children smiled. Ben raised his hand, showing the mark. Lily held her hand close to her chest. That evening, a great feast was held. Lights danced in the air. Long tables were filled with food. People from many houses came. They brought gifts and kind words. Liora walked through the crowd with Ben and Lily. Many stopped her to speak. Some thanked her. Some asked questions. Others simply nodded. Vorin was not there. He had left the palace and gone to a distant city. No one missed him. In the days that followed, changes came fast. The queen opened talks with Earth. Messages were sent across space. Old paths were found again. A group of explorers was chosen to visit Earth and speak of peace. Liora helped lead the talks. Darren wrote each word carefully. The children listened and learned. They sat with other young ones from Velmara, sharing stories, food, and games. One morning, the queen called Liora to the high room. The sky could be seen from every side. The stars were fading as the sun rose. You have done more than return, the queen said. You have taught us. You have led us. Liora bowed her head. I only followed what was right. That is why I name you as the next ruler, the queen said. Liora was quiet, then she nodded. I will serve. Years passed. Ben and Lily grew older. They learned the language of Velmara and taught others the ways of Earth. Darren's book became known across many worlds. It was called The Bridge of Two Stars. Liora ruled with care. She listened to her people. She remembered the pain of being unheard. She welcomed voices from far lands and opened doors long closed. In the garden, a statue was raised. It showed two hands, one human and one Velmoran, joined together. Flowers grew around it. Children played near it every day. Ben once asked Liora, "Do you miss Earth?" She looked at the sky. Sometimes, but I do not feel far from it now. One clear night, a ship from Earth landed on Velmara. Scientists, artists, and teachers stepped out. The Queen, Liora, and the children welcomed them. It was the start of something new. Peace was no longer just a dream. It was real, built by care, truth, and the bravery of two children who had come home with the Queen's daughter. So the story of Velmara changed forever. Not with war, not with power, but with love, courage, and the hope that one day all worlds could share the sky together.